Welcome back to Fred Achando Analysis, ladies and gentlemen. The 14-day ultimatum that the Azimio leader Raila Odinga gave to President William Samoei Ruto will end today midnight. And if William Ruto does not meet the conditions that he gave, then the planned mass demonstrations will be inevitable. Now, what are the conditions that Raila Odinga gave William Samoei Ruto? One of them was that William Ruto must accept to open the server, the IEBC server, so that the servers can be audited to know who won the August polls. That was the condition number one. Number two, Raila Odinga said that the high cost of living must come down before today midnight. And number three, the Azimio leader had demanded that William Ruto must forthwith stop the unilateral recruitment of the IEBC officials, because the Cherera 4 have been kicked out by the Muchelule tribunal, and then the other three, including the chairman Wafula Chebukati, have gone home because their term ended. So those are the three conditions. When Raila gave these conditions, the Kenya Kwanza team had trivialized them, and they said that they will amount to nothing. But this is just a brave face. Behind that brave facade lies a scared administration. And William Ruto is not taking any chances, because a spot check reveals that as early as 6 a.m. in the morning today, the Inspector General had deployed a contingent of policemen to block all the roads that lead to State House. The roads that have been blocked include State House Road, State House Avenue, we've got Daily Street, and Processional Way. Because these roads, in one way or the other, lead directly to State House. And they're afraid that Raila Odinga might tell them that the ultimatum will end by midnight, yet is planning something before midnight. And I think these are some of the security measures that the administration is making. Even in Kisumu, the roads that are leading to State House Lodge have been blocked because they don't want there's no stone that is remaining unturned. But come to think of it, ever since Raila gave these conditions, because the conditions were given on 22nd of February, today we are on 8th of March. How has the administration reacted, and what have they done? It is the funniest reaction that I've ever seen in any administration. Now, concerning opening of the server, William Ruto said that the elections had ended, and that for anyone to come up with the demands that the servers should be opened, he called it that Raila Odinga is playing with their collective intelligence, because according to him, people woke up very early in the morning, voted, and the process was concluded when the IEBC declared him as the winner. They went to the Supreme Court, which maintained the ruling that he is a winner. And he feels that for anybody to come now and start telling people to open the server, he thinks it's a joke. And he added that it does not fall within his purview to allow the servers to be opened. In fact, he told Raila that if he wants the servers to be opened afresh, then Raila should head to the Supreme Court to make his prayers again if the courts will allow him. That was the reaction on demand number one. On the high cost of living, William Ruto, I think it's laughable. One, he heaped more promises on top of the promises that he gave during the campaigns, because he came up with certain promises that in a few months' time, in fact in June and July, that he will bring down the cost of the cooking gas, the LPG gas, from 1800 to 500. That is what he told Kenyans. So it was a reaction to Raila's demands that the cost of living should come down. So Raila is telling him to ensure that he brings the cost of living down, because this is what he had promised Kenyans, saying that immediately he places the Bible down after taking oath of office, then the prices of basic commodities would come down. Now, instead of doing that, he's giving us more promises. The other reaction was to ensure that he heaps blame game on the previous administration, because within this period, we've had the Madam Nyakio, who is the controller of budget, revealing to Kenyans that she was coerced, cajoled, and compelled to sign certain billions of shillings to go into people's pockets. Allegations that are tantamount to committing an illegality. She must resign and be taken to court, because any officer must understand how sacred his or her office is, so that she or he should discharge her duties diligently without taking orders from anybody. The Deputy Rigathi Gachagua said that between the time when William Ruto was declared as president-elect to the period he took oath of office, that Uhuru Kenyatta and his close allies took as amount to the tune of 24 billion shillings, and packed them in some bags and into an aeroplane, and they flew into some people's pockets and bank accounts. And the intended purpose here is to demonize Raila Odinga and Uhuru Kenyatta, so that by the time Raila is saying that he wants the cost of living to come down, Rigathi Gachagua and Ruto administration wants to paint Raila Odinga as a hypocrite. He wants people to see Raila Odinga as someone who oversaw the looting of public money, yet now he's turning back, making a U-turn, and asking this administration to lower the cost of living. So that was the reaction. On the demands to stop unilateral recruitment of the IEBC commissioners, they continue with business as usual, and I think those who are appointed have begun their work. So I can tell you without a shadow of doubt that by the end of midnight today, plans will be on top gear for mass actions tomorrow, because it seems William Samoei Ruto and Raila Odinga are buddies who have not tested each other to the fullest. They are stretching. They have not been stretched to the limit. William wants to see what Raila can do when push comes to shove, because he's really prepared with the police. Raila Odinga on his side has got a contingent of wananchi, the masses around him. Yesterday, when they blocked Raila from accessing the DCI offices, Raila told them, "You want me to order these people to break the gate?" So William and the police versus Raila Odinga and the masses. Who will win? Is it the power of the bullet or the power of the masses? Going by history, who do you think will win? And when you look at the mood in the country, Kenyans are smelling demonstrations. You saw what happened when Kenyans ganged up together to demonstrate against the China Square. That mass, that crowd, in fact, it scared the administration, because I remember ex-Pastor Ngwini Mutai was telling Raila that those who are demonstrating, don't think that all of them are businessmen. Some of them are people who are famished. They don't have food, and they think that when they go there, something can come up. And then you saw the demonstrations when people ganged up in Meru to contest the illegal removal of one of the vice chancellor there. So Kenyans are ready, and it tells you what can happen. And William Ruto knows it very well, because he started by banning all the Kamkunji consultative meetings in Jacaranda and in the places where this Azimio group gather in Jivanji. They chased people there and arrested some of them, intimidated them, but this is not yielding any fruits. When they realized that this is being an exercise in futility, they decided to cut down a tree that had been giving shade to people in Jacaranda. And people were asking, really, at a time when William Ruto is advocating for people to plant more trees, he's cutting down more trees for trivial political purposes, a government of misplaced priorities. So they know very well the seriousness in it. But as usual, they want to please their supporters by telling them that Raila will hold demonstrations from morning to evening, but this will yield to nothing. But then, I've got a feeling that if William Ruto allows the demonstration to take place, then he will be on the losing end. One, the country is already divided. More demonstrations will divide the country further in the middle. Because with about 10 million supporters that swear allegiance to Raila Odinga, and another 6 million or 5 or so million people who are supporting William Samoei Ruto, you know what that means? We are sitting on a time bomb, and very soon it will explode. I'm one person who believes that William Ruto has got a golden opportunity to unite this divided nation. But instead of doing this, he's using some gimmicks. He invites people for prayers and even transport them using some school buses. He prays for rains to come. He has captured the clergy. And he thinks that by using this and using the power of the police, this will happen. It will not. The other thing that will happen is that he will lose more revenue when people go on demonstrations. Because even a single cent that they lose, they are on record as saying that they want to maximize collection of revenue. At some point, he even prayed for it so that Kenyans can collect more revenue. And when he allows people to go for the demonstration, and by allowing it means that he wants to subject Raila to this kind of hard politics, something that Raila really likes. Many people have been asking, was Kibaki a fool? Was Uhuru Kenyatta a fool by allowing Raila Odinga to sit with him on a round table just to hear what they want? Because sometimes you listen to the enemy to find out. I remember sometimes back when there was Mungiki menace in the country and the government was saying that we cannot speak to them. Raila asked them, can you sit down with these people even if they are criminals so that we can see? In Congo, rebels are fighting the government. But sometimes you need to sit down with rebels and find out what are your demands. Sometimes they've got genuine demands, except that the way they put them are not properly channeled. So if I were to advise Ruto, I would ask him to sit down with Raila Odinga. The quest for electoral justice is something that started long ago, and it will not end until people are satisfied that you can wake up very early in the morning, go and vote, and your vote counts. And so yesterday, Ngunyi said that you can kill the messenger, but you can never kill the message. And this is something that William Ruto must look at very carefully, because Kenyans are very ready. The cost of living can never be solved in any other way except by ensuring that the cost of living comes down. All the subsidies that Uhuru Kenyatta had initiated to cushion against the corona pandemic and how the life that was so hard, William Ruto decided to play to the IMF, International Monetary Foundation, because this was one of the demands, and he removed all of them. Now Kenyans are suffering. He must do something. And if I were William Ruto, I would do something between now and midnight. And if it doesn't, ladies and gentlemen, I can assure you that things are really getting tougher. How I wish that we don't go for these demonstrations. But it seems there is no otherwise, because it has been proved from time immemorial that the only language that a government, an adamant government, an obstinate government like William Ruto's understand is the language of demonstration. Of course, it is entrenched in the constitution, freedom of picketing. If I were our president today, I would change my tactics. But of course, he will not. That is my take, ladies and gentlemen.